Hello and welcome. My name is Andrew Parr, and I want to tell you about quite an amazing opportunity available to you right now for working as a professional hypnotherapist, earning a very high level income, working pretty much the hours you want, whenever you want to work them. Which could be full-time, it could be part-time, it could just be fitting in around current work you do. Plus, I also want to tell you that even if you stay in your own career right now, how you can use this information to enhance the work you already do. And there's quite an amazing number of opportunities available to you for that as well. So I have used this information to support myself, to support my family, to create a very good life for myself, helping others. And that's one of the most amazing things about this kind of work is every day you literally help other people change their lives and transform their lives. Now, how I got into this many years ago was I'd seen some stage hypnosis shows before. I'd seen it on TV and I saw them doing the click of the fingers and all that, and I thought, how do you do that? How do you do that? And it was just on my mind that at some point I would look into it. But then one day I had quite a low moment in my life. I'd been through quite a big personal loss. When I was age 21, I had a big personal loss occurred in my life, and I went on a bit of a roller coaster for a while, and eventually I hit the bottom of that roller coaster. And there was one day I was sat there thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do in my life? And this little voice came in my head and it just said to me, find out about hypnosis. Find out about hypnosis. And all those little thoughts and memories of stage shows and TV, they suddenly came flooding back into my mind, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'm going to find out. So back then it was like kind of the dark ages. There was no internet. So I picked up the Yellow Pages and had a look through it. And I was amazed to find out there was all these people with a career in hypnosis, hypnotherapy, offering their services. And I basically called a few numbers and got recommended onto some training. And that's where my life pretty much took off from there. It wasn't a great big career move. I just started doing it. I took the training and I followed the instructions and I did it. I have been on this amazing journey of meeting so many different people and applying what I've learned to so many different areas. When I look back now, it seems quite incredible how all that came about. And I really want to tell you how you can benefit in the same way that I have by helping other people to make incredible changes in their life, often very, very quickly, in a way that is very long-lasting too, and very gentle, very, very natural at times, but is extremely relevant to right now and the times we live in and the changing world in which we live in. So I've got some things I want to show you, and I know you'll have lots of questions. Many of those questions I will go through with you in this mini-series. It's going to be a 3-part training series I'm giving you right here, right now. So I know there will be lots of questions, such as, how do you learn? How do you get the right certification for it? How do you get the legal side of it right? How do you know that you're learning it properly? How do you practice? Where do you practice? Who do you practice with? Can you learn it online like this? Can I teach you online like this? Will that be good enough? When you qualify, where do you practice? Where do you see the clients? Where do you get them from? How do you advertise? How much does it cost to advertise? How much does it cost to do the training? How much does it cost to set up in business? All these questions will be going through your mind. Are you good enough? Do you need any pre-training to do this kind of thing? Do you need a background in psychology, or can anybody do it? These kind of questions, I know they're going to be on your mind, and I will answer every single one of those questions in the course of this training series. However, there's something I want to teach you first of all, because before you even move on to this kind of opportunity available to you, I want to help you understand why it works, how hypnosis works. Because it's one of the biggest questions I get asked and the biggest myths that I have to help people overcome. And I want to go through some of that with you right now and teach you something that I believe will probably have a profound impact on your life right now. So do pay attention and do get a pen and paper if you want to and take some notes, because this stuff can be quite life-changing in itself. Okay, so let's come over to the board behind me and see if we can get on with that now. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this information we have here. It may look a little complicated. Actually, it's very, very simple. I always like to make things as simple as possible because I believe life actually is very simple. I think we have a tendency to make things more complicated than it needs to be. That's just human nature. But actually, when you can get things right down to the very crux of what the issue is, actually it's always very, very simple. And I want to show you what I believe that is and how it can make an impact on your life right now. I want you to focus on this middle section first of all here, TFB, which is what I call a TFB loop. And most problems people encounter in life will be because of this loop here, the TFB loop. Now, what this is, it's very, very simple, is that whatever someone thinks will create feelings. Will create feelings. So how someone thinks will influence what that person feels. And what that person feels, of course, then influences how that person behaves. Now, most people who are having a problem in their life is usually because there's something about their thinking they want to change, or something about their feeling they want to change, or something about what they're doing or not doing they want to change. Thoughts, feelings, behaviors. And it always starts with this bit, what someone is thinking. Now, I know some people will say, well, hang on a minute, that's not true, because I just feel things or I do things, and then that starts to bother me. But actually, there will always be a very initial causative thought first of all, but it may be so fast you don't even notice it. It's more unconscious than conscious. And then what you get is the secondary effect. The feeling and the behavior start to feed back. So this loop starts to form. So what you think creates a feeling, which creates a behavior, but also what you're feeling can make you think things, and what you're doing can make you think things too. And most people, what I found, most people will try and solve problems on the secondary bit here. They try and think, well, this is what's going on, I'm doing this, I'm feeling this, and this is happening, and they try and solve it at that level. But they're really not dealing with the causative level underneath it. There's something behind all that that causes the thoughts in the very first place. And that is why I have spent most of my life, and what I spend most of my life, helping people get to. What is the bit behind this? Because when you can get to that, you can make incredible changes in people's lives. And let me show you, let me give some examples of how that can make an effect now. Look, let's come over here. If you think of personal problems that people may go through, let's choose very simple things. Personal feelings such as angry feelings or sadness feelings or guilt feelings or hurt feelings or upset or lonely feelings, any of those kind of things. If you can begin to imagine now that the way a person thinks obviously influences what they feel and influences how they behave. So if any of those feelings such as anger or sadness are impacting someone's life, if you can change how they think, you change how they feel, they change how they behave. And there are approximately somewhere in the region of, even for something like anger, there's something like 80,000 people a month searching for help with anger. For example, it's just one emotion there. So anybody who's going through that, if you can help them change how they think, they will change how they feel, they will change how they behave. They'll stop having big angry outbursts and they'll start being much more calm with people, for example. Let's choose another one. Okay, fears and anxieties. Somewhere in excess of over 400,000 people a month search Google on the topic of anxieties, fears and anxieties. And all these come down to the way someone is thinking, makes them feel something, which then influences how they behave. I'm sure, how many people do you know who don't do something because they're afraid or nervous or anxious? How many things don't you do because you're afraid or anxious? What if you could change how you think? So you felt differently, so you no longer felt anxious, you felt calm or comfortable or confident, so you could then go and do things, or stop doing things you don't want to do. Somewhere like 400,000 people a month, something like that, are looking for that kind of answer. How about this one? Trauma, okay? Lots of people go through very traumatic experiences, and the trauma stays with them. The memory, the feelings, the emotions of it, it stays with them. So now they are still carrying that with them. They're still thinking the same things, feeling the same things, and making them behave in a certain way, which could be very withdrawn and hidden away, or maybe very fiery and aggressive to people. Somewhere in the region of like 90,000 people a month are looking up information on trauma. Right? Here's a different one. Stress. We hear so much about stress nowadays. Stress is basically, we all know this, it's not what happens, it's how you respond to it, okay? How you respond to it is what you're thinking. What you're thinking influences what you feel, influences how you behave. Again, this is a big one. According to Google, somewhere in the region of 400,000 people every single month looking up information on stress for various reasons. If you can help someone change how they think and feel and behave, they will have a different response to stress. Different response to the things that cause the stress, and so their stress levels will go down. Habits. Okay. Habits are things people think they do for no reason, actually, but there's always a reason behind it. There's always a very, very fast thought somewhere that says, in this situation, this is what I do. I think this, I feel this, and this is what I do. Whether it's biting nails, or pulling hair out, or smoking, or whatever the habit is, there's always this process there. So if you can help people do this, help people change this process, you can change the habit. Absolutely. Just that word alone, somewhere in excess of 30,000 people search a month just for that word, let alone all the specifics of it. How about a different subject? How about sports and athletic performance? Can you begin to see that how someone performs in a sports or athletic environment is down to what their attitude is? Attitude is the way someone thinks. Someone who's feeling positive, feeling confident, feeling comfortable, feeling very sure of themselves is going to put in a very, very good performance as long as they're trained and they're fit and they're healthy and so on. Someone who's got doubts and fears and worries and anxieties is going to behave in a very different way. The subject of sports psychology is on the massive increase at the moment. Somewhere in the region of, I believe it's 18,000 searches a month just for that topic. And when you can teach someone to think differently, so they feel differently, they behave differently, you will massively enhance someone's ability to perform better in a sports or athletic situation. This is another one, business one. Many people work in a business, that's their job, but when you're the business owner, it's a very, very different experience. And the business will be a reflection of the business owner. There's a great little Japanese saying called the fish stinks from the head down. Right? If there's a problem with the business, look at the business owner. Look at the person at the very top or the people at the very top, because it filters right the way down. So anybody who's running their own business, who's struggling or wants to expand in some way, needs to change something about the way they're thinking and the way they're feeling and the way they're behaving, because they're making decisions, they're doing things, their behavior is not enhancing their business in a way it could, usually because of their own personal stuff. So when you can consult with a business owner to find out what this loop is, find out what they're up to, find out what's going on, and help them think differently so they feel differently, so they behave differently, again, you can massively enhance someone's business. And you'll see businesses taking off like this dramatically once the business owner gets themselves in the right mode and the right way of thinking and get the right feelings and right attitude there. Here's a very different topic. This is a very different topic on the subject of past life regression. Many people focus on the idea that problems they have nowadays are caused from a past life. You may believe in that, you may not believe in that. But many people do believe in that. Somewhere in excess of 30,000 people a month are searching information on this. Now, when you know the topic of hypnosis and how to access the inner thoughts of people and the memories and take people back and do regressions, you can help these people go into what seem like past lives. Are they real? Are they not? I'll save that topic for another discussion, okay? But 30,000 people every month looking for information on this. And when those people tap into those experiences, something changes. They begin to change how they think, change how they feel, change how they behave. I've had many fascinating experiences with this. Are they real? Are they not? I don't know. I can't prove it either way. Some of them certainly seem extremely real. It's a whole area to consider investigating. Let's look at some more over here. This one. Children. Okay. Children have fantastic imaginations. Fantastic imaginations. Their minds create all sorts of scenarios from the tiniest little facts, the tiniest little pieces of information. When you can help children change how they think, they will change how they feel, they will change how they behave. The same thing. I don't need to tell you how many children there are in the world, but there's an awful lot of children who go through all sorts of problems like bedwetting and nightmares and stresses and strains and bullying at school and all those kind of things that make them feel less than or not good enough or worried or concerned in some way. When you can help children tap into the power of their imagination in very simple ways, sometimes without them even having to speak, they can just tell you what's on their mind a little bit, and you can interact with them in a very beautifully positive way, literally kind of just blowing feelings away, blowing fears away. Many, many times you can help children, you can help transform the life of little children or young children or teenagers extremely dramatically. Now, another area, a very different area to consider, is that of, I've got my piece of paper there, is that of speech, particularly the area of stuttering and stammering. Now, most people, the vast majority of people who stutter or stammer can speak very well in certain situations, but not in others. Something about the situation means they think differently, they feel differently inside, and so they behave differently. It's very frustrating for many people who stutter and stammer to know that they can speak well either by themselves or quietly or with close friends. Put them in a different situation, something happens and they either can't start the words or can't finish it or stumble and get stuck. And when you know how to help someone change how they think in any situation, so they change how they feel, their behaviour, their neurological behaviour then changes and they can speak much more fluently. On a similar topic, public speaking. Same kind of thing. People can very often stand and talk very, very calmly, very comfortably, very confidently on their own or just one or two people. Put them in front of an audience. Again, something changes. Something changes about the way they think, the way they feel, and so they behave differently. And that's a really good example of this loop, because quite often people will then start to feel nervous and they'll recognise they're feeling nervous and that will influence how they think. Or they start to shake a little and act uncomfortable, and then they think, oh gosh, people can see me looking nervous, and so the behaviour makes them think differently, and they get so stuck in the other loop they forget what they're talking about and then freeze and panic. And public speaking is a massive area. Lots of people feel very uncomfortable public speaking. When you can help someone change how they think in this situation, change how they feel in that situation, they will change how they behave. They will slow down and talk much more calmly, much more purposefully, much more focused, and be able to relay the information to the audience in a much more effective way. Public speaking, a massive area there. Somewhere in the region of 30,000 plus people searching for this kind of topic here each month. This is another one again, physical conditions here. More and more nowadays, it's accepted how the mind and body connection is extremely, extremely powerful. I don't know if you're aware of some of the studies done on operations. There's one on knee operations, one on a back operation, where the surgeons were, in a way, absolutely horrified to discover that it didn't actually matter what they did in the operation. It was the belief, the idea that the person that had an operation was actually causing the benefit. They took some people and did, one group of people had the real operation, others they went through the whole procedure as if they had, but nothing had actually happened, and yet the recovery rate was exactly the same. the freedom, the life improvement was exactly the same. That's the mind over the body effect. Something about the way the person thinking is changing how they feel, their attitude towards it is changing how they behave, how their body behaves. When you can help people tap into that process, you can help people make incredible changes. Just on back pain alone, there's something like in the region of 135,000 searches every single month on the subject of back pain. So when you can help people tap into that, you can create incredible changes in people. No drugs required, just using the natural power of their mind that is there and available to people, but people just don't know how to use it and how to tap into it. Another big area, again a very different one, still this is like a physical area, but a massive area of problems, is the whole kind of sexual problems area. I'm sure you can imagine here how what you're thinking influences how you feel and how you behave. And when you're calm and relaxed within that context and your mind is on the job at hand, people can generally perform pretty well and enjoy it and have a good time. But the moment there's any other fears, doubts, worries, anxieties, well, the body's just not designed to handle both at the same time. So your thinking changes, your feeling changes, and we all know what happens there. Okay? When you can teach people or show people and access the part of the mind that will change how they think in those situations, change how they feel, then their body will behave differently, that person will behave differently, and lots of sexual problems will just improve and go away. Somewhere in the region of 200,000 searches every month on these kind of problems. And these are very conservative figures I'm giving you, just taken straight from Google search results. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Weight loss. Do you know anybody trying to lose weight at the moment? Okay. Somewhere in the region of 200,000 to 300,000 searches per month of people trying to lose weight. Most people try and lose weight by going on a diet, but really what they're doing is they end up fighting against themselves. They don't change their inner identity. Right? This is a big thing. They don't change their inner identity. So they try and do something they're not. They try and be something they're not. And try and do something that doesn't fit in with their thoughts, their feelings, and their behavior. So eventually they default back to what their default thoughts, feelings, behavior is, which is why most people try and lose weight, don't. Okay. Now when you can get to the underlying bit, and we'll come on to this in just a moment what that is, when you can get to the core thoughts behind it and help someone change those, then their core feelings change because their core identity has changed about how they think about themselves in that way. Then their behavior changes and people will naturally then begin to lose weight. And actually, instead of trying to lose weight, they begin to think of themselves as being slimmer and healthier in that kind of way. So their behavior then follows the new identity. There's a little clue there about how to help people lose weight. Now, if you know anybody who's trying to lose weight, once you know how to operate within the system, you can help them genuinely lose weight, or get fit, or get healthy, or whatever they want to do. Okay. A spin-off from that on the same subject is the whole subject of eating disorders. These could vary from, let's say, comfort eating, to binge eating, to bulimia, which is where it's binge eating and then purging or vomiting or laxatives, right through to anorexia, which is obviously very restricting. Each of these, really, the food is not the issue. The food is just the area in which the person plays it out. The issue is the thoughts and the feelings that someone has that makes them do what they do, the way they behave towards the food, and they use food in that way. And if you're one of those people who does that, you know it's not really about the food, it's about the feelings that drive you to do that. Even if it just seems like a habit, there will be this going on at some level behind it. When you can tap into this, the behavior changes, and most of those eating disorders just go away. They just stop. Some are easier to access than others, but whenever you do that, it just changes. Somewhere in the region, I believe it's around 100,000 people a month doing searches on eating disorders and the various specifics of them. Last on my list here for now is the whole area of pregnancy. which includes, giving childbirth itself, and also things like IVF. Can you imagine how stressful IVF is when you're trying to get pregnant and you've got a certain budget, a certain amount of money, and a certain amount of time, and only a certain number of goes? The body's just not designed for that. When you can help someone change how they think and feel in those situations, you change how their body behaves. The body relaxes. And you find that many people, when they just relax in the IVF process and can stay calm and more relaxed, the whole thing just goes far more smoothly. Plus there's general pregnancy itself, helping someone stay calm and focused throughout, easing any side effects of going through the pregnancy. And then hypnobirthing is a big thing nowadays, helping people deal with natural pain relief and pain control and staying calm and focused through the birth itself. You don't necessarily have to be there if that's not your thing. You can help train someone to do this themselves so they can then use self-hypnosis when it comes down to the birth. So there's a whole area around the whole pregnancy topic there. Some in the region of over 500,000 searches around pregnancy every single month. So there's plenty of people there who are pregnant and looking for some kind of information, some kind of help. Plus there's miscellaneous ones. An advertising executive the other day told me that they're now hiring hypnotherapists and hypnotists to help assess how much information has really gone into someone's mind for an advert, whether it's an advert on TV or a poster. So there's a whole new area there for someone with a knowledge of hypnosis and how to access the inner, the unconscious of someone's mind. And these areas seem to be growing all the time. Now, I'm telling you this to show you that as a hypnotherapist, hypnotist kind of person, you don't just help people stop smoking. There's a massive area of where you can help people. Personal problems, habits, sports, business, past life regression, weight loss, sexual problems, physical, public speaking, helping with children, speech. There's so many different areas. But here's the key to it all. The thing that makes hypnosis so effective at this is because of this thing here. All of these rely on a person's belief system. What a person believes is the foundation that sits underneath all of this. When you can help someone change what they believe, all of this changes. And the number one way, the most effective way of helping someone change their belief system is to use a form of hypnosis. And there are many different forms of hypnosis which I'll explain in the next part of this training. But for now, think of it that when you can take someone into some kind of trance, which is like an internally focused state where they're accessing their inner workings, when you can take someone into the level of their beliefs and work with them and resolve things at that level, all of this changes. All of this changes. And for those people who think, well, isn't that brainwashing? I would say it's the exact opposite. Most people have already hypnotized themselves or allowed life to hypnotize them to believe something which isn't true. And the result of that is they're thinking, feeling and doing something, behaving in a way that's creating some kind of problem in one of these areas or any other. So my job, my role and your role, if you get involved in this, will be to unhypnotize people, really, to unbrainwash them, to let false beliefs, false ideas fall away so the natural, confident, calm person within themselves can come out and then feel that way and behave that way in whichever situation is appropriate. Now, the way to use this very effectively in a business sense to make a good income from this is, you can do general practice, you can do all of this. That's kind of what I've done for the past 20 years or so, but I'm beginning to zoom in on a few different areas. And the reason I do that is because I think it's great to specialize. You see, when you can specialize in any one of these areas, or more than one, you don't have to, but when you do, it makes everything so much easier to rank a website in Google if you specialize, to have very targeted advertising. You get much more return for much minimal spending on advertising, much greater return if you specialize. You can become an expert far more quickly if you specialize. Who would you rather go and see, given a choice? Someone who can do everything, or someone who says, I am the expert at this? You just make the choice, you go, wow, that's the expert in that one, so we're going to see that person. So if you can specialize in any one of these areas and learn how to use hypnosis and trance-like states to access people's belief systems, to change how they think, how they feel, how they behave in any of these areas or any other, then you have what I call the real key to rapid success. Okay? And rapid success, it doesn't mean overnight. You know, all success takes work, it takes effort. So don't fool yourself there. There is work, there is effort involved. But if you're willing to do it, if you're willing to learn this system and specialize, you can get very rapid success. You can become an expert in helping people in any of these areas very quickly, and then begin to charge quite a high level income, a high fee for that. And I'll explain what that is in the next video. So if you found this interesting, please leave a comment below. Hit the like button, share it. Please leave a nice comment below. Any questions, please ask a question below as well. I will answer all of your questions. And the next video will be coming up very soon, the next couple of days or so. So look out for an email from me. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you so much for your interest. There's so much more I got to teach you in the next video. So look out for it, watch it. Leave a question, comment below, and I'll be with you very soon. My name is Andrew Parr. Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking to you in the next few days. Thank you.